Have you ever been reading like one of those boring lists in the Bible and then something jumps out to you? Typically when we read the list of disciples, like found in Matthew 10, we just skim over the names. But I found something today that really stood out to me. Of Matthew, who is identified as the tax collector, and then a couple people down you have Simon, who's identified as the zealot. See, Levi, or Matthew, was a tax collector, which means he was a Jewish man who worked for the Roman government to tax the Jewish people. He wasn't just like a typical Jackson Hewitt guy sitting at Walmart like you see today. As a tax collector, the Jews saw people like Levi, Matthew, as a traitor, because he's helping Rome, the people who occupied their land and overtaxed them and treated them poorly. Then you have Simon the Zealot. Now, that doesn't mean that he was just a really excited person. The Zealots were passionate Jewish nationalists who wanted freedom from Rome and were willing to use violence to get it. So think about this. If there's anyone who despised Matthew, it would have been Simon the Zealot. Yet Jesus calls them both. And what struck me today is that Jesus didn't wait until they agreed to call either of them. He didn't tell Simon to make peace with Rome, and he didn't tell Matthew to start a revolution. What he did was he called them to something better, something far bigger than their political identities or their occupations or their passions. He called them to join in the kingdom of God. Matthew and Simon didn't become friends because they worked really hard at unity. They became friends because they spent 3 years looking at Jesus. And in turn, Matthew stopped being seen as the tax collector, and Simon stopped being seen as the zealot. Instead, they were known as disciples of Jesus. I guess what I love about this is that it shows how Jesus brings together people and forms relationships that only he can explain. And for me, it challenges me to think, am I letting Jesus be my primary identity? See, what I love about the gospel is that it doesn't just reconcile sinners to God, it also can reconcile enemies to one another.